Everyone wants to know the answer. Can Trump win? Is he winning? Well, the turnaround is stunning. A major New York Times poll shows Trump beating Kamala 48 to 47 points nationally. The first big survey to show a drop in support for Harris. Look at the gender gap. Trump's doing 16 points better among men than he did in 2020. And Harris is running behind Biden with women voters. She's also massively losing ground with young voters. The demographic that identifies least as Democrats is voters aged 18 to 29. Biden was up 24% among young people in 2020. Harris is up by just 8. Trump's also massively outperforming his 2016 and 2020 numbers in the Midwest. Same goes for votes from Hispanics and blacks. And get this, Trump's doubled his support amongst whites, who represent 70% of the voting population. CNN's really starting to panic.
If you look at the white voters without college degrees, this is a Trump-based constituency, obviously. You see his huge numbers with this group. You see that this is a trouble sign for Harris. She also, in a place like Georgia, is not doing well with white college-educated voters.
Compare this exact same poll to the one conducted in 2020, which showed Biden 8 points ahead of Trump. Most voters blame Harris for rising prices and think she will simply offer more of the same, while most think Trump represents the change candidate.
Trump is doing better with those who say the economy and inflation are major issues.
If you're a Trump voter, don't get complacent. But the NYT poll concludes that Trump has an electoral college win probability of 99.7%. The poll also found that 28% of voters needed to know more about Harris compared to 9% for Trump. Gee, I wonder why that could be. Could it have anything to do with the fact that she's only just released 56 days before the election any kind of solid information whatsoever on what her policies will be? Could it have anything to do with the fact that she's been hiding from the media, desperate to avoid any adversarial questions, giving just one major interview where Tim Waltz had to hold her hand and she reportedly had to refer to notes? I mean, in this Univision interview, you can literally hear her flipping the notes.
This time to address Hispanic Americans who may be on the fence about which way to vote on November 5th.
Listen, I think that it's time to move forward and to chart a new way forward. And we need to turn the page.
Turn the page. Quiet.
It's time to move forward.
Trump spokesman Jason Miller triumphantly announced the honeymoon is officially over. But Nate Silver's latest model is even more bad news for Kamala. It gives Trump a 63.8% chance of winning the Electoral College. Trump's up 1.7% over Harris in Pennsylvania, a state which if Kamala loses, she'll find it near impossible to forge an electoral path to victory.
I talked to two people today, Democrats who know the state very well, and they both said that they thought Harris not only was behind in Pennsylvania today, but they thought she was likely to lose the state. They didn't rule out that she could win it, but they thought it was unlikely. And if you believe that, what these people believe, and if you believe that what my source does, that her chances of winning Pennsylvania are quite low, you can't make her the favorite. And you almost can't even say this race is a toss-up.
Democrat voters have also noticeably lost enthusiasm for Harris since the end of the DNC, while enthusiasm for Trump among Republicans is the highest ever. Now take a look at those crucial swing states. Trump's completely crushing her. Now take a look at the betting markets. Trump's up 10% in Pennsylvania. He's currently beating Harris by 5% nationally on Polymarket as I make this video. Less than a month ago, Kamala was beating Trump by a margin of 9%. That's a 14-point swing in the space of 3 weeks. No wonder the Harris campaign is panicking. They're reportedly scrambling to rewrite the Harris debate playbook because ABC News changed the rules of the debate so the other person's mic will be muted when a candidate speaks, robbing Harris of her vacuous "you go girl" moment when she'd planned to interrupt Trump. Whenever she's forced to endure an unscripted event, Kamala's known for totally botching it.
She does very few unscripted events, and when we do see her in those types of situations throughout the years, she tends to fall flat on her face.
So without those precious notes, she could be in big trouble. We're now within 60 days of the US election with the result on a knife edge. At the recent Bitcoin conference in Nashville, Trump made clear his exciting vision for the crypto industry, calling for the US to be the crypto capital of the planet and asserting he plans to wholeheartedly embrace crypto and wants the US to be a Bitcoin superpower under his leadership, which is music to the ears if, like me, you own crypto and see it as a powerful tool of financial freedom. A Trump win would likely be a big boon for crypto. Now I want to show you what in my view is a really phenomenal opportunity. DeFi Technologies, which trades in the United States under the ticker symbol DEFT. DeFi owns a number of profitable subsidiaries, but the undoubted crown jewel in their empire is Valor. Valor is one of the very few companies that creates and manages ETPs, which are the European equivalent of ETFs, which eases the process of investing in cryptocurrencies through your brokerage account. Valor is growing exponentially and expanding into new markets all over the world. But get this, unlike the relatively small fees associated with ETFs, Valor's average fee generation on their AUM is a whopping 8 to 10%, illustrating how profitable this has been for the company. The last quarter, they generated $60 million net income. If you annualize that, it's $240 million. Valor's market cap is $600 million. If you divide market cap by net income, you get a PE ratio of less than 3. If this company was trading at the same PE ratio on the S&P 500, it would be 8 times bigger. In other words, the stock would rally by 800%. Anyway, you look at it, this is a massive opportunity. Go find me another profitable company that's growing with negligible debt, tens of millions of cash on hand with a great management team, that trades for 3 times earnings that isn't DeFi Technologies. You'll struggle because DeFi Technologies is the only one I could find. It's that undervalued, and as far as I'm concerned, that PE ratio isn't going to stick around for long. You like Bitcoin? So do I. So let's compare Bitcoin to DeFi Technologies. In 2024, Bitcoin is up by 30%. In 2024, DeFi is up by 225%. 8 times the return. Since September 2023, Bitcoin's up by 95%. DeFi is up 2,052%. Look at the past 5 years. Bitcoin up 471%. DeFi is up 5,663%. There's absolutely no reason for you to be a crypto bull and not own DeFi. Now get this. 45% of DeFi is owned by its senior management, the insiders. Like other notable founder-led businesses, they're committed to DeFi because they have major skin in the game. Ensuring DeFi's continued growth and success is why they get up in the morning. That's hugely significant given how typically founder-led companies outperform others. But don't take my word for any of this. Hedge fund manager Eric Jackson recently appeared on Fox Business talking about 20 baggers. That's companies which are projected to go up by 2,000%. And who do you see right there at the top? DeFi Technologies. Jackson wrote an entire thesis on why he thinks DeFi Technologies is going to $20 a share, from its current level of around $1.70. That's a potential 30 times return, writes Jackson. A simpler scenario says it should simply be worth 13 times more today than where it currently trades. Anthony Pompliano, one of the most recognized people in crypto blockchain and a DeFi shareholder, also wrote that DeFi stock is, quote, wildly undervalued at the moment. This really is the kind of opportunity that doesn't come around very often. So if you want to invest in a company with amazing brand recognition, pioneered and managed by some of the best people in crypto, based on sound principles of financial freedom, that's ultra profitable, growing, hugely undervalued, and has massive competitive advantages, DeFi Technologies might just be the one you have to do your homework on. Please check them out via the link down below. The Democrats haughtily dismissed RFK Jr. for dropping out, suggesting his endorsement of Trump was meaningless given his single-digit support. Yet now they're forced to acknowledge that one single point could make all the difference.
Kamala Harris would win this election with 292 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 246. But let's just say we move the current polls, and let's say the result differs by them by a single percentage point, and Donald Trump is the beneficiary of it. Look at this. If Trump outperforms his current polls by just a single point, you take that Kamala Harris win, and look at this. Donald Trump gets 287 electoral votes, because the bottom line is Pennsylvania would flip up here, and you would also get this flip out in Nevada over here. And that, my friends, is what we're talking about. We are talking about the closest campaign in a generation where a single point could make all the difference in the world.
Another major downfall of Kamala's campaign is she's been totally bereft of major celebrity endorsements. After a rumour of Beyonce appearing at the DNC crashed and burned, Harris's famous backers amount to people like Rosie O'Donnell, George Clooney and Barbara Streisand. Hardly viral powerhouses of influence in 2024, are they? Trump, on the other hand, was more or less just endorsed by The Rock, who has one of the highest social media followings in the world.
Trump used to come watch you wrestle all the time, Madison Square Garden. It was great. First time I saw him, I said, let me see the eyebrows. God, there it is. That's cool. So he was a fan. He watched you as a fan. Oh, he was. Yes. Yeah. That's cool. He used to come to Madison Square Garden all the time. Big. Whether you love Donald, you don't love Donald, it doesn't matter. They tried to assassinate him. There's no room for that. And despite it being who we were in that moment, I still believe in my core that is not who we are as a country. So him standing up in that moment, you wanted to see that.
And Trump also just received kind words from Elton John, one of the most famous musicians in the world.
How did it feel when he took the lyrics to Rocket Man and he used it as a nickname for Kim Jong-un, and then he gave Kim Jong-un
I laughed. I thought it was brilliant. I just thought, good on you, Donald. I'm the Rocket Man, yeah. Donald's always been a fan of mine, and he's been to my concerts many, many times. So, I mean, I've always been friendly towards him, and I thank him for his support. Yeah, when he did that, I just thought it was hilarious. It made me laugh.
I mean, there's still time for some big names to back Kamala. But I really don't think Mark Hamill's endorsement is going to drive millions of undecided voters her way. Top pollster Frank Luntz says the debate is so important, whoever wins the debate will win the presidency.
The debate is everything. Everything.
And that Trump should avoid the pitfall of attacking Kamala personally and instead ask Americans one crucial question.
Why did inflation get so high under your administration? What exactly are you going to do? If your policies caused it, what can you do to solve it? And most importantly, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? It's not my question. That was Ronald Reagan's question. If he asked that question plainly, he will be successful.
How Trump wins the debate. Let Kamala Harris talk. Directly ask her to answer for her failed leadership on every major campaign issue. Remember that she wanted notes. She can't remember anything. You must lean into that throughout the entire debate. Trump's last debate performance ended Joe Biden's presidency. So no pressure, Kamala. What do you think of all these latest polls and Trump's chances of winning? Let me know in the comments down below. If you value what I do and you want to help support me, please visit pauljosephwatson.locals.com and either pledge a one-time donation or subscribe to join my community, get early access videos, and message me directly. And exclusive live streams coming soon too. Promise. Check out the Locals link down in the description. And don't forget to take a look at the brand new website, modernity.news. That's where you'll find all my content, including exclusive articles. That's modernity.news.